Hey guys, what's going on? Brandon here, and today I'm doing my review of Strange World. Strange World is a new Disney film starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Jabuki Young White, Gabrielle Union, Dennis Quaid, Lucy Liu, amongst others. But those are really the main actors and actresses in this film, and I feel like they do a very good job voicing their roles. Um, there is some issues in this film though, and I'll get to those here in a minute. I think this movie has very big bright spots as well though. But before I start talking about the movie itself, I do want to talk about something else. Um, I want to talk about the trailers to this film because the box office for this film has not been good. It was what took, I think it was 180 million to make. That was the budget, and the movie has made I think 40 something million at the box office, which is really bad. Obviously, um, that's not even close to what they should have at the moment. And I think part of that is because of the trailers. I don't usually talk about box office or budgets or trailers in my reviews. However, I think it's I think it's I think it makes sense to talk about it here. This um, movie, this film, had a really bad trailer. I didn't like any of the trailers I saw for it. I would, I would see him in theaters, and I'd be like, that doesn't really look like the best movie in the world. Doesn't really look very, very good. Um, and the movie is better than the trailers, I think, at least. It's not great, and I'll get to the issues here in a minute. But I think this film has a lot of life to it. It's very colorful. Kids are gonna love it. Kids are gonna absolutely love it, and parents aren't going to hate it. The issue, it's very funny at times. Um, you know, I know some people have other issues with the film. I'm not gonna get into those, but they're stupid for that. I just want to say it's ridiculous. Um, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Um, but the main thing I want to talk about, I think the main cast does a great job, and I think I think the movie is relatively funny. I don't think it's as good as a lot of other Disney films, but it didn't need to be to make money. That's the thing, as there are some bad Disney movies that have made tons and tons of money, so it's not about that. I just people saw the trailers of this film and were like, it doesn't look very good. It's definitely not the criticism that some people in the South have given it. No, no, no comment on that. Still, it's just a ridiculous criticism, but that's not the reason why it bombed at the box office. It's for sure not. Um, but the film itself, the issues in this film, the story isn't great. It's not terrible. It doesn't have any glaring like holes. It doesn't have any glaring like plot holes or anything like that. But it's not as good as like a Toy Story, like the original Toy Story, or like an Aladdin or something like that. It's not as great, you know, as some of those films. And so what you need when your story isn't as good as those films, to get people to want to see it, you're going to need a really really good trailer, and you're going to need a you know you're going to need a really funny movie that gets really good word of mouth. But I don't think that this movie's going to get great word of mouth. I think it's a decent film, but I don't think it's going to get anything more than, you know, an average movie would, basically. This movie just feels like a very average movie, and it's not like a bad thing. Like, I like movies that aren't incredible films. My bad. That aren't incredible films. This film isn't like something that it isn't like, this incredibly like diverse and like introspective look into the human psyche, like an Inside Out is, or something like that. And this film doesn't like, it just doesn't do much. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't have like, the movie doesn't have glaring issues, but it has a lot of like small issues that build up, and that's my issue, I think. And some of the issues I can't get into because it would require spoilers, and I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just not going to do it. I refuse. I love Jake Gyllenhaal as an actor. I think Gabrielle Union is okay. I think she's fine. I don't think she's great, but she's good. I feel like this film had really good, actors, and it had like a decent, setup. It had a decent story. It had a decent like premise, but you need more than just a decent premise and decent actors. You need, to make sure that you fill out that storyline with interesting things, and I just don't feel like it does it all of the time. But I don't really have much to say about this film outside of that. I'm giving this movie a 6 out of 10. I think it's a movie that's sort of in the middle. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's great. It's somewhere in the middle of that. And I think a 6 is fair. I think a 5 would be too low. I think a 7 would be slightly too high. Maybe a 6.5, but I'm giving it a 6. And that's really all to say. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And you can follow me on Twitter in the link in the description below. Peace out.